Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Game Theory Podcast. This is episode 90 freaking 2. So long we've been doing this.
So long.
Oh, I hear a buzzing. Okay, it was done. It was a weird magnetic resonance thing.
Oh, that was my supervillain weapon that I'm building. It's a doomsday device.
Oh, well, that explains it. Yeah, very good. So, how's your week been, man? You're still in summer, so you're living the dream.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's literally been gaming and audiobooks nonstop. That's all I've been doing. Like, I wake up. My biggest dilemma every day is like, I want to binge watch House because I've never seen it all the way through. Also, I want to finish Assassin's Creed. So that's really like the hardest decision I've been making this past week.
That's crazy. Hey, I'm living your life a little bit. This last week I just went crazy on like video games because Arkham Knight came out.
Yeah, you got to live a little bit of the dream.
Yeah, it was crazy. I felt I've just gotten used to working so much that like now I feel guilty. When I was doing it, I was like, man, should I be doing something different? But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. We did some adorable activities. Although it's hot as hell here, we've been able to get out a little bit.
They closed our pool today, which is super inconvenient. Because
why did they close?
I don't know. They just sent me an email. They're like, "Oh, the pool's closed today. Sorry." And I was like, "The pool is closed. It's 81 degrees outside with a breeze. How am I supposed to beat the heat?"
We had a pool and then it all evaporated.
Became a stagnant mosquito farm.
Yeah. They were gonna put chlorine in it, but they decided not to, so that mosquitoes can thrive. We don't hurt nature.
No, we got like conservation in the deep south, aren't they?
Yeah, we were really looking forward to the long haul as far as the Earth goes. So, yeah. But anyway, overall, hey, welcome to everyone who's tuning in for this episode. It feels like we haven't done this in a while. I don't know why.
It's because we recorded it on Thursday last week.
That's what it was.
So it's been a little longer than a week for us, but for the listener, no, because we uploaded it on Sunday.
All right. Well, so nothing out of the ordinary for you guys. But we got quite a few things in the news, so let's move on to that section. News section. We did a little dance there on the YouTube version of that. I was imagining the song,
and I was just following your lead. I wasn't imagining anything. I just thought we were having seizures.
Oh man. Well, so decent amount in the news. I guess I'll start. Two kind of rough times for Destiny, for Bungie in general. So whenever you're a big developer and you're looking to innovate, that can go very well. Like I don't know, Nintendo's Wiimote, for example. Everybody kind of followed suit. It can also go very, very poorly, which is the case with this Bungie idea, or this idea that they had for two ideas they had. One of which was so they were going to sell this DLC called the Taken King, right? And the goodies along with it. But they were only going to do it if you bought the $80 collector's edition, which is shitty, right? Because like, let's say you already have the game and you're playing it, you don't have access to this DLC. Which sucks. Unless you rebuy it, and not only just rebuy it, but the whole collector's edition. So unfortunately, what happens, obviously people got really upset about that. They were like, I already have the game. I'm a fan. I don't want to buy the collector's edition, but I want the DLC because I'm a huge fan. I want to play all the content.
Sure.
And they were like, no, it's not going to happen. But eventually they were like, okay, that'll happen. And we're really sorry for screwing you guys over. I just don't do that. Don't add like specific content. Only one person can get it. Like Arkham Knight did that, which sucked.
I do, yeah.
If you bought it from GameStop versus Steam versus whatever, Walmart or something.
Oh yeah, I hate the like exclusive pre-order bonuses, or just pre-order bonuses in general. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, like I want all of them, right? Like I want everything involved with Arkham Knight because it's going to be a good game, or it's a good game, and so I don't want to have to. I'm not going to buy multiple copies, like one from GameSpot, one from Steam. It's just crap.
So it's weird because this comes on the tail of Destiny apologizing for just how crappy the game has been. Like The developer just had an apology saying, "Yeah, we know we dropped the ball on a lot of things, but here's something new. You don't get to play the DLC unless you have the specific version of the game."
Yeah, it's really shitty. And they just did they just put this out too. Another little innovation they had. They have a new quest, or actually the quest is now available. So they were like, listen, we're gonna make it the collector's only edition. And then they're like, just kidding. Sorry about that. We'll fix it. Here's how they fixed it. You could only get the Taken King DLC by popping buying a Red Bull, or you had to wait till next year to get it.
Oh yeah, I saw that, the Red Bull exclusive DLC. So now it's not even just like GameStop. It's like, are you killing your body with horrible energy drinks? Have a reward.
Oh my god, this is
I
the
would never
worst,
buy
man.
a Red Bull. I don't care what's attached to it. Like,
Oh.
I don't want to be that guy.
It's hey, I enjoy Red Bull. I like it, but I don't want to be asked to like. It's like, hey, go get a carton of this specific kind of milk so that you can have a new Arkham Knight skin, or even a skin's not that bad, but a DLC, I'd be pissed. Like a whole quest, like a whole deal, like a whole portion of gaming, like only contingent upon buying like a lunchbox or whatever it is they want you to buy. That's bullshit, man. Like already Arkham Knight, to get all the content, you have to spend $100 on it. That's crazy. I'm not gonna do that. That's insane. Game's already expensive, $60, right?
Right.
So like this is just another way to monetize. So pretty soon they're gonna be like, oh, if this would have worked, this is them testing the market, you know? If that would have worked, that would have been there's no limit. Like you can make them buy anything.
I think what's going to happen for me if this continues, I'm just going to have a Steam sale only summer policy then. I'll buy your game and all the DLC for $30 next summer. Fuck you.
That's a good idea. I'm starting to think that way. So frustrating. I just, whenever Microsoft entered the space, they started doing this bullshit anyway with their Xbox Live subscription fee you had to do. And I was like, no, don't do this to my sweet gaming section. Don't do this. Don't Microsoft it up. And then they did. Then they started adding, like, really prioritizing DLCs. And that just...
in happier news, speaking of Xbox Live Gold, I've famously been on record of saying that's a terrible thing to make me pay a monthly fee to use my console online. Mm-hmm. But there are some good parts to it, so I'm going to give credit where credit's due. This month, from all of July, so until July 31st, if you're an Xbox Live Gold member, you can get Black Flag Assassin's Creed for free, as well as Gears of War 3 for free. Those are both great games. Nice to get them for free. I mean, it's not really free because you paid $5 a month for however many months you've been playing Xbox, but it's nice to get something back for your dollar besides the ability to play online. So if you are an Xbox One listener, make sure to pick those games up because those are both fun games.
Nice. Yeah, Black Flag is great. And Gears of War 3, I never played it because I don't have an Xbox, but I want to. So maybe I will. Oh, this one. Okay, so Arkham Knight, I bought that game. I've been playing it, but it has this weird thing where I don't know. Have you heard about the characters? Like you can play. You remember in Arkham City, or maybe it was Arkham Asylum. It was Arkham City. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Catwoman in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was to play her? I can't remember. How did you unlock her?
She had her own little sections in the game where you play as Catwoman, and then when you beat the game, you unlock the Catwoman like free range mode where you can just explore Gotham as Catwoman.
Yeah, did you do that?
Yeah, I played it. She was interesting. She had a different playstyle than Batman. She could, different moves, different ways of navigating the city. I mean, I didn't play as her very long because I kind of lose interest in the game after I beat it, but yeah, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, well, first of all, they unsexed her up a bit. She has less of a like vivacious booty and huge boobs, so they're still out there. She's meant to be a sexual character, but are you playing a game on your phone, you dick?
No, I'm looking up news articles.
Oh, okay. I just see you looking down. You're kind of smiling. I was like, "What are you doing?" Oh man, no. Okay. So in this game, what's weird is they made a design decision to only let you play. You get to play different characters, which is fun. You get to play like Robin and Nightwing and Harley Quinn, all that kind of stuff, or Harley Quinn. But only in specific parts of the game. You never get a free range, which was people weren't too excited about. So somebody actually just modded it. So that you can play as everybody in free roam mode, which makes me just wonder why they didn't do that in the first place. It's weird.
I'd rather somebody mod a version of the game that runs on PC, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Good point.
So more happy news. I feel like we're doing good cop, bad cop today because Fallout 4 has been pre-ordered by a fan using bottle caps. So, you know, in Fallout, bottle caps are the currency.
Yeah.
This guy saved
Yeah.
up 2,000 bottle caps to pre-order the game, and Bethesda let him do it. They're like, okay, yeah. And so they give him a pre-ordered copy of the game in exchange for 2,000 bottle caps, which is
How did
apparently
he
the
decide
exchange rate.
2,000?
I don't know.
Okay.
They worked out some kind of exchange rate. Like, this is how X bottle caps equals $1. And he's like, hey, he just shows up there with a bag of bottle caps. He's like, I'd like to pre-order a game, please. And they're like, I'll allow it. That's hilarious. I guess it was worth $60 for them to get the publicity.
Oh my gosh. Hey, did you play the new Borderlands, the Telltale one?
Yes, hilarious.
Okay. Someone I saw this news article talking about it kind of got a couple serious parts. Kind of a serious part. Sorry, there's this hilarious GIF that popped up on my screen. It's Batman's buggy, Arkham Knight. There's this one of Batman like kicking this, you kind of punch him up in the air, and as he's flying up, you kick him sideways and he flies back. Mm-hmm. And it's one of your kind of finishing moves that you do. And but they show this pictures of, or this GIF is of them doing that, and it's pretty glitchy. So like the guy flies back and like curls up into a tiny ball, and he's holding his legs like this as a dead corpse. It's just funny looking. But are the choices in the new Telltale Borderlands one, are they like tough?
I never feel stressed about choices in Borderlands. It's just a fun romp. Like, you're not gonna it's not like Game of Thrones where you're gonna lose sleep over this one. Like, I'll just go, that looks like a fun thing to say, and I'll just click on it, or I'm gonna go this way, and I just click on that. Like, it's definitely a game where you don't have to worry about what you're gonna just fuck everything up.
See, okay, that's how I feel about it. I was wondering if it changed paces, or if one of these authors was just taking it seriously, which I don't know how you can.
This episode is more about like, hey, you know what? People like Athena. Let's bring in some more Vault Hunters and have some more chaos. So just like a lot more Vault Hunters show up.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all my news items.
Big news item, and we're going to talk about more of this later, but if you are thinking about buying Batman on the PC, you no longer have that option. Right. They actually suspended sales on Steam, so we'll talk about that in the main thing. But my last news item is kind of fun for Splatoon. They have just hit the 1 million copies worldwide marker, so wow. That's fun. They just sold 230,000 copies in Europe, which puts them over 1 million worldwide.
Wow. Well, that game, I gotta admit, it's fun. So I'm not even mad at it.
Yeah. Did you watch the someone in the Facebook group posted the honest trailers for Splatoon?
Oh no.
It goes through all it's basically feels like an unfinished game. They're like, there's no matchmaking. You can't play with your friends. Like, there's all these things. It's like, you can't change your weapons without leaving the lobby. I'm like, yep. And yet I keep clicking play again every single time. It's the most unfinished game that still has me hooked.
Yeah, that is weird. There's a couple weird design decisions they made, but Nintendo's just like that. At this point, it's like, oh, it's your crazy uncle that shows up with like fries and gravy or something instead of fries and ketchup, but it's still delicious. So you're like, oh, I guess this is a thing in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, so that's pretty much all my news items.
Cool, me too. Let's go on to gaming experiences.
Gaming experiences.
Hey, can we start end all of our news sections with "Stay fresh"?
Oh yeah, from Splatoon.
That was another thing in the honest preview. Like, you can't skip the stupid news thing every time you play.
Oh man, yeah, but that's kind of fun. It makes it feel like a live world. It's weird.
I would happily skip that every time you log in. Stay fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I would definitely change it up a bit, but the core feeling that makes me feel is like oh, it's something new and different, but it's not really. It's just talking about maps. But
oh yeah, one more little news item I forgot to bring up. Fire Emblem will have same-sex marriages in the new one.
Hey-o.
It's kind of relevant since it's now the law of the land in America
that people can get gay married. It's funny. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, that's for another topic. But gaming experiences.
Gaming experiences.
Holy shit, have I been playing Arkham Knight like crazy. So
yes.
much.
So
I have
overall thoughts.
I've probably played it 40 hours, probably. I don't know for sure because I leave it up a lot. So my Steam's like, you've been playing this long, and it's just wrong.
800 hours.
Yeah, yeah. I have been playing the crap out of it. So it's buggy, right? We'll talk about that a little bit more, but it's not so bad. All it is like if you cap out the 30 frames per second, which it does for you for some reason, and then like because when I didn't, I uncapped it and then I just let it go. It was crazy. My machine is a beast, and it was like like that much stuttering is crazy. But then.
Is it like Assassin's Creed Unity buggy when it first came out, and you would just get like stuck climbing on something or like stuck in midair in like some stupid pose? You have to like restart the level.
It's really not that. I don't understand. Some people said they've had significant troubles. Like I was reading some of the comments on some of these articles of people talking about it, and they're like, "Oh man, I got a game-ending glitch where like the world blew up or something." I was like, "What? I never got anything like that. Nothing that affected my gameplay except for like my reflexes. So like you're driving around the Batmobile, it's going super glitchy, and then I'm trying to turn a corner and like I just run into the wall instead. That sucked. But once I like lowered some stuff, which sucks because the whole point of having a PC is it just looks gorgeous. Is that it's fun. It's a great game, and it's the end of the series, right? It was a trilogy, I guess. So they just do whatever. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but they just do whatever the fuck they want. It's the last one, and they're just like, all right, after this we're washing our hands, so we're just gonna wrap up this tale, and it definitely feels like it. They have some great writing, so I think it's one of these games that like if I'm away from my computer and I'm doing something else that's supposed to be fun, I'm like, I would just rather be doing Arkham Knight right now. I really want to know what's going on, and I'm really addicted to these little things. So it's cool. So non-spoiler things I could say about it. Remember the Predator mode, where you turn on your detective mission, you're up in the rafters. Yeah, to catch a predator. Yeah, they should put Batman on pedophiles. They'd just be done. But dude, now it's in the open world. So like you can do that in the open world. It'll like have these. Before it used to be an isolated room, is clearly a loading screen, and then be like, here's the portion where you do that. But in here, it's like there's those sections that you need to like clear out people to do so whatever quests. But it just feels weird because you can literally fly away and then come back. You don't have to hide. You just be like, oh okay, well I was detected. Goodbye.
And I'm back. You've forgotten about me.
Yeah, so it feels a little wonky, but it's really fun because it makes it feel like a seamless experience rather than like these load screens. Like, oh, here's the predator part. Oh, here's the sneaky part.
Do you? How does it stack up to the other three? This is the fourth in the series. How would you rate it compared to Asylum, Origins, and City?
So gameplay, the Batmobile, I feel like was a cool addition. I'm glad they did it, but it's kind of wonky in some places because like you can go into this tank mode where you like shoot. Like
I love
other vehicles.
One rule is like I don't use guns. I use grenade and missile launchers, though. That's fine.
I know. Oh, dude, it gets ridiculous because how you can't kill people. Well, you're in a Batmobile, you're gonna hit people, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way they justify that is if you have an electrical field on your car, which is pretty hilarious. As always, design is awesome. Where if someone walks up to your car, they'll be like, "It's the Batmobile," and they'll kind of like walk up to it. And sometimes they'll be doing that while I fly in, and they're like, "Oh!" They all scatter, and then I'm like, "Yes!" And I get in my Batmobile and go. But sometimes like they'll walk up and they'll kind of because I was sitting on this ledge watching these people, and I was like, I've got to listen to what they say, and he's part of some quest. And I saw people that were like, "Is that the Batmobile? Dude, get in!" He's like, "I'm not getting in. He's probably in it." And like these conversations, and I looked over and I'm watching him, and they're like from like this ledge from above, and he's like, touch it, and he's just like, "No, man, if I mess up his paint job, he'll come and find me." And then he's like, "No, dude, I dare you touch it." And he's like, "All right," and he touches it. It's like, and the other guy goes, "Oh shit!" And he just runs off. Stuff like that happens all the time. But okay, so when you're driving and you hit someone, it shocks them and pushes them back but they got hit by a car going like 100,000 miles an hour.
Now they've also been electrified. Like it's worse.
Batman, your logic is crap. And whenever you shoot,
no, they're fine. I also electrocute them.
Yeah. Let's say you're shooting a vehicle and it's like boom, boom, shooting these massive it's like a cannon basically, and you've also got like a Gatling gun kind of thing, and so or minigun, and so you're shooting this stuff, and as soon as you turn to a person, it's like and turn a person, it just won't let you shoot, and then or the boom, 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 and then it turns into a riot round like a rubber pellet and hits the person and sends them flying and knocks them out. So you've got little things, but man, I'll tell you the cool parts of it though are that you can eject out of it. So like, and you can upgrade it to eject you way high. So like, you're just driving along, and you're like, and you're in this high speed chase, and you just eject out of it and like land on the person's car. It's just epic. Or you can like eject through windows. So like, you're driving all recklessly, and you see someone up somewhere, and you're like, oh, it's one of those. Just like in all the other games, or in Arkham City, you get these like kind of like Grand Theft Auto and stuff, these opportunity type quests, and so as you're driving by, and you see this window with people in it. And I'm like, wow, fuck it, I'll do this quest. And I just ejected through the window and like ran into these people. It's just hilarious because they're just talking. They're like, as I'm like flying towards them, I can hear them. They're like, hey, did you hear about the Batman's back? And they're like, yeah, it's crazy. Well, don't worry, up here we're fine. And I just go, boom, and I slam the guy, and I upgraded it so that I drag his face along the ground and like, just wreck his life. And I was like, ah! And then they're like, and it operates on a fear mechanic now, where whenever you get fear, you get open to this like fear takedown that like you can take down multiple people in a row, and you just feel amazing when you pull this off. So I just wrecked his face and then did a fear takedown in a row. There's one guy left, and the guy's like, ah! And at this point he's lost his shit, right? He's just backed up in the corner. He's like ah! He drops his gun. He's like, no. And so it's completely, there's no point to this, but I did the slow walk towards him. I was like, oh yeah, you're getting it. And yeah, it's great. But the writing is phenomenal. Like it does, remember our Batman episode? They kind of start touching on like the dark, obvious downsides to Batman. And so, one of which being like, he's getting a little rougher. Like, didn't you ever feel like you're like, Batman, he won't kill people. He's got like a moral line, but then he'll be interrogating someone. He's like, hey, tell me where the Joker is. And then they'll be like, oh, he's over in this corner. They totally tell you. And he's like, great. Boom. And then like he hits him with his steel like gauntlet here in the chin and puts it all the way to the side. And I'm like, that could have broke his neck. You could have broken that man's neck. He probably dead. So like, he's just brutal, right? Which they start kind of exploring like that kind of thing. So anyway, I won't get any spoilers, but it's kind of these cool themes, and everything feels like it's wrapping around and finishing. So it's amazing in that. So
the game as it is, would you pay $60 for it again?
For PC? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess even on consoles it's pretty buggy. But for PC, yes. But I have a sick computer, so like by capping it down, I still can keep it at what's called normal detail, which is they have low, normal, high. Can't do high, but can do normal and play it pretty well, pretty much just fine. So for me, I'm a huge fan of Arkham series, and so I'd do it again, yeah.
All right.
But anyway, there's a lot more to say about it, but I will reserve that till we both play, and then we can do like a spoiler full episode, because it's great.
Cool. Is that pretty much what you've been doing this week?
I mean, I've had other ones too. Like I played Splatoon, of course.
How's your Chrono Trigger reading coming along?
Good. I haven't played it much. Man, almost forgot about it because the Arkham thing.
A couple more days before we have to have it beaten.
Oh, hey, I'll do it. I'll get it done. No problem. But yeah, I've been playing so much that my wife was like, "Hey, you haven't helped do literally anything. You just wake up and play all day." And I was like, "Yeah, good point." But
yeah,
and we played some Borderlands pre-sequel.
Yes. How's that?
How is that?
Okay. Give me a gun. Give me a good gun. I'm sick of this game is so stingy with their guns. Like previous Borderlands games, you'd eventually find upgrades and you'd feel like you could buy them if you needed them. I'm just always poor. Between that and like constantly like the driving in this game is just the worst. Like the driving's always awkward in Borderlands. Like it's not a vehicle simulator, so you're gonna have problems driving. But this one has so many pits of death that just will kill you if you get the jump slightly wrong. Then I'm always broke. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna hop in the car and now I just lost $400. Good, thank you. I think this is fun. Thank you for giving me so much fun.
Dude, there's so many pits. Why are there so many pits of lava? There's so many pits of lava, or just death. And you're driving around and they're like, there's so many places where you just can't see over it. You're like, I hope this isn't a death pit. And it almost always is.
Yeah. So Borderlands 2, you kind of broke this down for me on the phone. What made Borderlands 2 fun?
Oh, I feel like a few things. Exploration, like driving around and like getting to a new zone and kind of looking around, like I remember the zone where remember that big old, the fat lady that runs that garage?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Tina? Tiny Tina?
Maybe. Yeah, or her. And I'm over looking at stuff that's all under. That's in a buggy. And this one,
whoa, buggy. Slow down. You are so lagged, I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, hold on. Let me check my connection here. Sorry about that. If it's anything, I don't think. Am I downloading something? No. Thought it might be downloading an Arkham update. All right. Is it okay now?
Yeah, you're fine. So you were talking about the fat lady.
Yeah. So just driving around the zones. I just remember like driving around, having a lot of fun, shooting other buggies. Now, whenever I get in a car, I'm like, all right, let's get through this. It feels like the lanes are smaller, and like there's just less room to maneuver and open and drive around and do stuff. Like that's kind of a minor gripe, but the exploration part. But the second one, so exploration, I think getting good guns, like upgrading your guns, getting like that new, that thing that hits that reinforcement in your brain. You're like, oh
yeah, dopamine, new gun.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is exactly what I need. I'm a sniper, and it's a purple sniper rifle. Let me see if it's better. Oh, these are both good. It is better. It's an upgrade. Bam. Super fun. I like that part of the game. And then third is
the humor.
The humor, yeah. So how many of those do you think they got right, like in your opinion?
All right, so the Borderlands pre-sequel, still funny. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board. I want to see Handsome Jack's story because he's just the funniest villain. He's one of those villains you love to hate. He's like Hades from Hercules, like you're kind of rooting for him even though he's a total dick.
And when it starts out, he's like the total gentleman. He's like, I can see we have opposing points of view. That's cool. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, you kind of
like, let me get that door
into psychopathy, where where he's just like, oh man, that was kind of invigorating. I totally shot that guy. That was kind of fun. And you're like, whoa, this is gonna go down a dark path.
Yeah, he's like, I thought that'd be terrible, but I actually loved it. Huh? Weird.
And they even he's such a hero at the beginning. Like even the people, they're like, you're kind of putting him in a pretty positive light. We're like, yeah, he kind of was.
Yeah, so, he's like, stay here. I'll hold them off. You guys go to safety. And you're like, what? Handsome Jack?
Yeah, so I'm enjoying that. But then the exploration, not so much. This oxygen mechanic, okay, again, functionally, right? Like they were like, the Australian dev team that put this together, they're like, all right, what if we put some kind of low gravity mechanic? That sounds good. Low gravity, it's fun. Big jumps.
It's perfect. It's zany. Borderlands is all about zaniness. Let's put a little zany in there.
Well, if it's low gravity, there's probably not a lot of oxygen. That's where you need to stop the conversation and say, why would that make it fun?
Yeah, the oxygen mechanic, people talked about this in the reviews, and I expected it to be not that big of a deal. I was like, oh, stop whining. But it totally is. Like, you don't want to explore because you're like, how far can I get? Because your oxygen's slowly depleting. And you're like, can I get over where I need to be before I run out of oxygen? It's just so annoying. And like certain moves, like the double jump uses oxygen. And so if you're double jump, well, you just use some of your oxygen. So you don't really want to explore high things because that's double jumping. It's just, it sucks.
And it poisons every other aspect of the game because the loot collection aspect, which we'll talk about in a minute, you're looking at these guns, but you also have this ticking down meter of oxygen. You're like, I don't know, just whatever, I don't care, because there's this time limit on everything you do. Or the funniness. Remember, funniness is one of the good things. We'll find like a quest giver or something. I'll have some kind of funny backstory, but we're like, okay, come on, hurry up, because he's talking and stuff. But I'm not enjoying the dialogue because I'm just like, shut up, dude. We're not indoors. There's no oxygen. It's ticking away right now. So you'll just end up running away while he's talking at you, and he like comes in on your receiver. He's like, yeah. So anyway, look, I was saying. I'm like, all right, thanks to them. Like, I'm inside of a room with air. It's just that oxygen mechanic poisons the whole game. It just makes everything less fun.
Yeah. We even skipped a couple because like we had a couple to do, and I was like, and as we're running through, we would click through the quest quickly because you don't have time, and so I don't even know what I was doing. I was like, why are we getting these weird echolocators? I don't understand. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you're just like, just go. So that kind of ruins that. And then
it's just the sparsity of loot. Like it's a severe difference. Like I didn't think I was one of those people that was motivated by purple and blue guns, but when you're a sniper and you're still using the starter level 1 white sniper rifle that you've had for like 5 levels because just no rifles have dropped, you're like, well, there's just no point in beating me. Yeah.
And you can't buy them. They used to be able to buy guns in the stores, and then you don't even see you buy one for a long time. It even jokes about it because you see one and you're like, oh, and you go to get it, and then he's like, Claptrap's like, that one's broken, and he starts working on it, and you're like, ugh. They know that it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So and the stuff you buy is horrible, and the stuff you find is even worse. It's so bad. Green. Here's what you find literally every time: green pistols, and what else? Green what?
Green assault rifles.
Yeah, assault rifles or shotguns. Like I guess those two.
And they're all like 5 levels below you.
Yeah, they're awful. And this isn't just single player. It's
Yeah,
multiplayer where they're
there's
supposed to get
four of
better.
us, and we'll open up a thing. It's kind of the point where we're like, "Oh, what'd you find? Don't worry about it. We don't care."
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
don't even look
well,
at some of
we're
the
level
weapons.
11, so obviously there's going to be 3 pretty identical green level 5 pistols. Enjoy.
Yep. That's like probably, let me see if I can get a correct statistic. Probably
70%,
60
75.
to yeah, 60 to 70% of the cases are just all green pistols. This is the worst, and we're all different classes, so it's not like catering to us. And this happens in the single player too. So I don't. It's the worst. I don't know what the hell they did differently. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
It's like it's a game that's fun in spite of itself, because it's still fun because it's Borderlands and it's your friends, but you're not having as much fun as you had in Borderlands 2.
No, at all. Or one.
You should be taking it up a level when you make a sequel or a pre-sequel.
Yeah, this would have been a great starter, not only for story wise, obviously, but this is cool because you have to know how bad Handsome Jack was before you can see how he is now.
Mm.
But also with just the loot mechanic is horrible. It's horrible, and the oxygen thing like that makes it worse. And the low gravity doesn't add anything to the fun. Like that's not any more fun.
Yeah, because all the enemies are jumping around too, so it just makes it more aggravating because you're like, wait, there's an enemy, you have to look up and you see some guy flying around shooting, and you're like, now I can't get a headshot because he's above me, I gotta jump up too, and now we got this weird jumping around, shooting each other thing. It's like being in a bouncy house. Like, it gets old after a while.
It does, yeah. And the classes are just confused.
Yeah,
they're just
they really are.
I loved all the classes of all the old ones. I have high levels in every one of the alts and all the other ones, but this one, I don't know. Like one is Athena. She has a shield, but you don't need a tank in this game. And
yeah,
like you just run towards people.
She has no way to draw aggro, so it's just hopefully they're shooting at her.
Yeah, and then you can only hold a pistol on the other hand, so you're kind of like shooting with a pistol, and then but it's a slower reload, and so like then you're like, well, I don't know, should I specialize in pistols then? I guess maybe it's not like the pistols are even good, but
and I'm playing Nisha, whose whole thing is she starts off with a rifle and she's got a talent tree called Rifle Woman, but she's not a sniper because her ultimate doesn't really help sniping at all.
Yeah.
It's the only game where I was like, let's make alts. I'm like, I don't really feel like playing an alt because it's going to be almost exactly the same. There's no difference in the characters.
Yeah. And the mechanic for her, okay, so her ultimate, Athena's, is she puts up a shield and it soaks up damage, right? And you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like soaking up damage. I'm not taking any damage. It's soaking it. And then you throw it at the end for all the damage you soaked, which I thought was awesome. So I picked that character first. I was like, this is who I want to do. I love sword and shield type people. But you can, but when it does it, you either like, because you're facing people and you're really up close, right? So you can't really, it's hard to manage the battlefield because it's an FPS, you know. So you're up there and you're taking it and you turn and try to find someone else while it's ticking down because you only got a couple seconds, and they throws it, and you 9 times out of 10, I'm not kidding, 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, this mechanic you just hit the ground because you have to aim perfectly too, like in that short turnaround, because like the guy has to not die in front of you, or if he does die, you have to be able to reacquire a target that's worth it, not an almost dead one, which is usually what happens. In Borderlands, bullets are going everywhere. Everyone's taking damage. It's not going to be a fresh guy that's out there. And then if there is, you got to find him quick and then throw it at that person. It has to be good. It has to be a good throw. So it's a horrible mechanic. Like that would have been cool for like a sniper or something somehow. Like maybe transfer the energy to your sniper and they could, because they have they can see everything. They can easily acquire a new target. But it's horrible, and that and everyone's jumping, so you're kind of like, what the fucking?
Yeah, you see on the mini map, there's someone, but you're like, where are they? And you're looking around, up and down. Yeah, it's meh. I picked it up for $20 on the Steam sale, and that's about the price point I feel okay playing it as. I would have been pissed if I paid full price for this game.
Yeah, I would have asked for a refund, but yeah, and I loved it the last two, but for this one, yeah, I'd pay about $25 for it, and because it's so fun playing with friends, anything, especially with humor. And and the claptrap, it's just confused. Everybody's ultimate is just weird. Yeah, and there's the drone guy who like passively don't put drones in games for first person shoot. Nobody likes to do passive damage. Blizzard talked about this in Heroes of the Storm, some of their development stuff. They said, don't make a character that just passively does damage to people. That is not a fun mechanic, or passively buffs people, because you have to tell your friends
for you.
Yeah, so you tell your friends, you're like, "Did you see those guys die? They died a little bit faster because of me." And that's what I'm doing is claptrap. I'm like, yeah, and then or another one, I'm like, "Hey guys, did you notice that you guys are running a little faster? Probably not, but that was me. That's me doing that passive things. I didn't click anything; it just happened." And so that's not fun. You want something that's visually like, maybe like a shot that shoots out and blasts someone, something that's like makes sense. And
like a perfect example is the siren on Borderlands 2. It was fun because I was a sniper and I could lift people up in the air with magic, and you guys would all see that happen. And it was like a visual cue. You'd all shoot at that person because he took more damage while I was lifting him. But it was also like an obvious thing. I have to call it out every time. I wasn't like, "Hey guys, I just helped out." It's just you could see it happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. Or Brick, whenever he went like crazy and started punching things. Or the Gunzerker, you see him just shooting both. I mean, that's sweet. Like, get more of those mechanics, because like the shield thing, no one can see me doing the shield. And when I throw it, like, I guess you might be able to see that, but I rarely hit anything, so it's not going to impress anyone. I'm going to be like, wow, now you hit those stairs again.
Jack thing, he just makes doppelgangers of himself, and I
don't know what he's doing.
They're just a bunch of guys standing out there. I'm like, wait, are those targets? No, that's him. Okay, never mind. It's just annoying. I just feel annoyed every time he uses it, and that's the exact opposite of what you want your ultimate to be. You want everyone to cheer when it happens.
I don't. This week has been all about how do you fuck this up so badly. Like, how do you mess this? How do you mess it up? You can't. Even if you just did it like you did it last time, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
So this
game
actually
had to work hard to make it worse.
Yeah, weird, man. Like, nobody likes it. And whenever they were developing it, people were like, don't do that. That seems weird. Borderlands on the moon with the bouncy mechanic and butt slams and oxygen, that's not going to go well because nobody's going to like that. And they're like, oh, no, you'll like it. Don't worry. And then they're like, okay.
I got
and
just a thing for you.
A year out. Then they keep announcing, they're like, yeah, and actually the oxygen mechanic is going to be a big deal. Like, you have to constantly pick up canisters off of killing people, so it should up the pace. And people are like, no, don't do that. That sounds horrible, because I don't want to have to be forced to kill people when I stop to do a quest. Like,
yeah, and I don't want to have one more meter to juggle. Like, shields and health is enough.
And they're like, don't worry, just trust us. And they're like,
it'll be fine.
It'll be fun then.
It's gonna be on the moon. I'm like, yeah, you said that. So
you said that a year ago, and then like even right before the thing, they started releasing the betas, and people were like, "This is awful. You got to change this." They're like, "Nah, you love it." And they're like, "No, we don't. We think everyone will hate it." It's like, "Nah, it's fine." Our quality testers said the same thing, but they were wrong as well. Like, okay, and then they released it, and everybody's like, "Yeah, just like we said, this really sucks." And they're like, well, fuck me then. Like, there's no answer. You screwed up a great game, and not screwed it up, but you took a lot of the fun away.
You made it less awesome.
I pay about half price, if that. So anyway, yeah. What else have I been playing? I don't know. I feel like I've been playing a ton of stuff besides Chrono Trigger. No, I still got a ton of games I want to play. Holy cow!
Dreamfall, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, got a 75 Metacritic score and a 6.1 user score.
Yeah. Metacritic is like generally positive, so I mean, it means that was it a favorable or non-favorable review. So really, that's kind of a dichotomous scale. So 61% means that 39 or 39% of people said this is bad game. It's a bad review. So,
and you can compare that with Borderlands 2, which had an 89 meta score and an 8.1 user score. So yeah,
it was
definitely drop in quality.
It's really too bad. Great franchise, and I'm really excited about this story. But I mean, we are really trying to have fun too. Like, we're not shitting on it.
Like I'm in the Borderlands. Like I just finished playing Tales of the Borderlands, and I was like, oh man, I want to play Borderlands because Athena's in it, and she's in the pre-sequel, and I was primed to love this game, and I really want to, but it's getting harder and harder. Like, hey guys, you want to play Borderlands? Or like, yeah, I guess we can. Like, it's hard to get enthusiasm for it now.
What the hell? Why so many pits of lava? You didn't get that in any other games. Like, it's just and you can't. Like, it's not like
it's known for its lava pits.
They're everywhere ever since the Crackening. But they, which is part of the story, I guess. But there's lava everywhere. Why does there have to be? And if it is lava, fine, make it so like it damages you or something. But it's instant death. And so like, or in a buggy, you're just like, well, I'm on fire and I'm dead. So I just so many and just so many pit like jumps that they're clearly ramps. It's clearly made to be a ramp, and most of them, not most of them, probably half of them, you take them and it brings you somewhere fun. You're like, oh, that was worth it. I totally boosted, and now I'm some strange place. The other one half, which is 50% of your gaming experiences, sails off to nowhere, and it's clearly a fucking ramp. I get so mad at that because then I fly off, and all of our friends, like all four of us, we'll all both in both vehicles sail out into nothingness. And I'm like, the fuck was this? Or they're too short. Have you noticed that? Like, they're not. You can't get over it in the buggy. You hit the wall and you fall down. And it happens like 2 out of 3 times. And you're like, why was that so short? I boosted. I'm a good driver. I've been doing this in Arkham Knight all the time, boosting over jumps. What the hell? I'm not a bad driver. I'll kick ass at Mario Kart. This makes no sense. Yeah, the game, I don't know what happened, but they jacked it up. So many times where I just get frustrated. I'm like, oh, God, this again.
Yeah.
Without being buggy. Without even being buggy.
Yeah.
Although there was some bugs.
So I've been playing Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Oh, really? How was that?
Did you like Black Flag?
Yeah.
It's more of that. It's like it's like more Black Flag. It's got the ships, it's got the naval fleets, it's got the upgrading your ship, it's got the collecting shanties. It's exactly the same as Black Flag, except the story. Now you're a rogue, like you leave the Brotherhood, right? So now, like you're hunting assassins. Like you're not really a Templar, but you're not really an assassin either. You're just kind of like fuck everybody, stop playing games with people. Okay, so did you read Candide?
No.
There's this event that happens in Candide. It's this earthquake that happens in Lisbon, Portugal, where an earthquake, a fire, and a tempest happen on the same day. Just wipes out everybody. It's like the worst thing. It was Voltaire kind of satirizes it as like, how could this be the best of all possible worlds, the loving God, when these three natural disasters happened at the same time and just wiped Portugal out, wiped Lisbon out. So that was based on history. Like that actually happened. And so I'm gonna go ahead and spoil. This is like a 2-year-old game. You actually inadvertently caused that on one of your assassin missions. You go into this like precursor temple and you get this artifact and it triggers this horrible like earthquake that wipes out the city. And so you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, well, it happens. We're trying, it's for the greater good. And you're like, no, millions of people died, innocent people. This is fucked up. I'm done. And you just leave the assassins, right? Like you're just like, I'm out. And so the rest of the game is like you being hunted down by assassins, but also it's got all the Black Flag mechanics, like you attack forts, you like liberate cities, but it's cool because you'll be walking and you hear this like whispering, like this, you're like, oh, an assassin's nearby. So you turn on your eagle vision and you look around, you're like, where would I be if I was an assassin? Like this pile of hay or something, and like a barrel of hay, and you're like, I bet you there's one there, and you'll focus in and you'll see it, and so you'll assassinate the guy who's laying a trap for you. So it's like this counter assassin game. So it's kind of a cool spin on the franchise where you're kind of like using all their tricks against them because you've played all these other Assassin's Creeds, you know how assassins work. So it's pretty fun. It's like everything. Black Flag was probably one of the best received Assassin's Creed games because it added all those cool new mechanics. It keeps everything. This is okay. Remember how I said Borderlands, a pre-sequel? All they had to do was just do the same thing but better. Yeah. That's what Assassin's Creed Rogue is. It's just the same thing but better. It's just all the mechanics you love. They add some new mechanics, like you take out these gangs. Like there's these gangs of New York, and you have to take them out, and then like you get these. You can use their bases for yourself. So it's this whole like liberating cities kind of aspect to it, along with all the forts and stuff you're using with the ships. So it's everything you loved about Black Flag with some cool new mechanics. That's how you make a successful sequel.
Wow. That's like what Arkham City was to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, you like all that stuff? Now do it in an open world. And you're like, oh, mind blown.
Right.
Yeah. It's very fun.
It's more of the same. So I'm having fun, and it's like Black Flag. It's a game where I can put on an audiobook or a podcast and just zone out and listen to it while I'm just sailing around, digging up treasure and looking for collectibles. Like it's a game that doesn't require your full attention. Like you can do the main story modes, and I mute everything and I pay attention. But there's a lot of just like exploration. But it's not so densely packed. Like my problem with Unity was it was all so dense. Like I just got sick looking at the mini map. Like it's spread out. You're not just in Paris. You're in the entire North Atlantic. You're like New York, Canada, all these areas you can go to. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So it's a lot of fun. It's a game I can just kind of play in the background while I'm doing something else.
That's cool. I miss those kind of games. That's what Arkham Knight is doing with me. Like, there's open world type quests where you're like, where's the Riddler trophies or whatever. And so it's you're driving around looking for those. I'm just like watching like a jiu-jitsu or something, or whatever I want to watch on the other side, like someone play games, turn on someone's stream. So yeah, I like that. It's like real relaxing. There's nothing to, I don't know. That's a fun gameplay. But there's also intense moments where like you'll run across something and you're like, oh crap, chase scene or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity quests in Arkham Knight, which is fun. Like, if you drive by like an enemy's like APC or something, which is an armored personnel carrier, and you're like, oh, that's one of their commanders, and like, you just chase him down. It's just fun. Like, and like you like stop all the action, and fortunately it keeps, whatever marker, if you were chasing something down or whatever, whatever quest you're on, you can go right back to that. Right. Which is good game design. So the Batmobile,
that's how Assassin's Creed Black Flag is too. You're like, I'm going after this, but holy crap, it's a white whale. Those are rare. I want to hunt it down. Get in the whale boat.
Yeah. Well, cool. Any other games?
Here's the Storm. We've been playing. I feel like we're getting better at our formations, our teamworks, our setups.
Yeah.
So it's been fun just to try different synergies. That new Johanna character just adds a whole new level of amazing when you throw in like a lot of area of effect stuff because she sucks everybody up to her and then you just drop
Yeah.
ice and fire on them. So
Yeah.
that's still fun. I'm seeing a lot of. I don't know. I still think the thing about Heroes of Storm is it's really unfun. It's really not fun when you have one bad player on your team because it's so team focused that you can't really carry it. Like if you're not doing really good team fights, you're gonna just lose. Whereas if you're playing League of Legends, you might just be dominating your lane, and even if your team is sucking, you're still having a good time because you're like 10 levels higher than they are or whatever, right? Like you're outpacing them and you're still contributing. You can't do that in Heroes of the Storm. You're gonna sink or swim based on your team. So I think it's more fun when you have a good team, but if you have a crappy team, it's not a very fun game. Here's a Storm is going to like frustrate you a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially at the low. This is what people say in League of Legends too, but low elo is what they call it. But us, it's low rank. Like if you're a low league, then yeah, like as you level up, it's very hard to find people up in the whatever leagues and on the like Hero League or whatever in the higher ones. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. The only conflicts happen is like if someone has sometimes there's a split second calls you have to make where you're like, I don't know, man, go for boss or like camps or man, push lanes back. One of those three decisions, and you'll disagree. You'll get two like quasi shot callers, people who are like ping the map and say to go somewhere, and then they'll really disagree, and then it's like, no, dude, we need to turn in or we need to do this, and the other guy's like, no, and he pings the other one. He's clearly running that way, and then the team splits up, and then you're like, fuck, man, and then you get jumped at one of them and you die, and then everyone gets mad at each other. That's like really that's only frustrations up at higher ranks. So I think it's a better game because of that. I know there's a guy on our Facebook page, Johan, who will disagree with this, and he knows more about MOBAs, but I feel like that's the downfall of the team base, like you said, because you can't just carry the entire team. But on the other hand, it's kind of nice that at least if the guy who sucks, at least he's your level, at least he's not like level 4 getting jumped by a level 7, enemy, always getting, because that's more snowbally, right? Like at least this guy, if he's with the team, he's as strong as everyone else. Right. But you're right that like, you with the guy who's running around doing his own thing, 4v5 will almost always lose. If you get in a team fight. But anyway, well, cool. This has been quite a long portion, so maybe we should move on.
All right, moving in.
Should I stop this one or start a new one?
Yeah, probably start a new one.
Okay. All right, we'll start a new broadcast.